Such a nice country.
It's recorded, by the way.
So today we're going to speak on the Swamsha with regards to the 4th, 10th and 9th houses. They have a special focus herein, in which we'll be dealing with 4th house, and we will be talking about a little bit about property, 10th house, work, career, and 9th house, about direction in life. So we'll start with Sutra of the first chapter, the second pada, 39th Sutra. Rife, Buddhe, Buddhadrishteva, Mandavat. Now, Rife, we have to figure out what Rife means, because by normal calculations it's 12th house. Ra is 2, Fa is Fa, 2 again. So 22, reverse, you will still get 22. Remove multiples of 12, you will get 10. So, Rife refers to 10th house. If Mercury is in 10th house or aspects 10th house, it is like Saturn. Mercury conjoining or aspecting the 10th from the Swamsha indicates results like Saturn. And when we speak of that, whichever results we had attributed to Saturn previously, what were those results?
Hardworking,
shy in assembly.
Shine in assembly, wanting to continue skills of
Tradition. Yes, prasida, exactly. Prasida karma jivacha, correct? That's right. Now, so when Mercury is in 10th, this happens. It's like Saturn. So then we have a scheme, which some of you are familiar with. When a planet joins or aspects the 10th house, it gives its color to that house, which in turn has an impact on the Lagna based on the Navagraha chakra. That is the 9 planets in the weekday order. They start with Sun and end with Ketu. Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu. The traditional rule here is to count from 10th house to Lagna, 4 signs. Now count 4 planets from the one aspecting or joining the 10th house. Counting 4th from Mercury in the order of weekdays and including nodes, we arrive at Saturn. That is, Mercury is Wednesday, Jupiter Thursday, Venus Friday, Saturn Saturday. So it's as if Saturn is on the ascendant. Therefore, the impact on the Swamsha is like that of Saturn. We apply this to both Navamsha Lagna and Atma Karakamsha. It does not apply to all divisional charts.
Just for Navamsha, okay.
No, it applies to others than Navamsha also, but not all. Okay? The reason is this. This sequence of counting in regular order, is like a cyclic system. It moves in a certain order. There cannot be breakages in this order. So also the divisional charts should not have been created with breakages in their order. For example, let us take Navamsha to understand this. The first Navamsha of Aries is Aries, yes? The second is Taurus, third is Gemini, and so on. The 9th Navamsha of Aries is Sagittarius. Okay? So then we have ended all the Navamshas of Aries. Then we'll go to the next sign, Taurus. The first Navamsha of Taurus is Capricorn. So you see, we ended with Sagittarius in Aries. The last Navamsha was Sagittarius. And then, when we entered Taurus, the first Navamsha was Capricorn. So for Navamsha, it's a cyclic system. It moves around. There are no jumps or breakages. You could practically take and draw all the signs 108 times, making that cycle 108 times, and you will get that all the signs, when they change signs, are still moving in a cycle. They're following in an order. We call this vritti, parivritti.
Gemini, Aquarius.
Exactly. The 9th, exactly. It all follows in an order. Yes, that's right, Diego. Now, the Shamsha does not follow this principle when we calculate it. It does not. Let me give you an example. Does anybody know here how to calculate the Shamsha? Anybody remembers? You're familiar?
Yes.
Okay. We'll start with Aries. The first Dashamsha of Aries is Aries.
Yes.
The 10th Dashamsha of Aries is.
Wait, so 3 degrees.
It's every 3 degrees, and it follows in order. First Aries, then Taurus, then Gemini, then Cancer, then Leo, then Virgo, then Libra, then Scorpio, then Sagittarius, then Capricorn is the 10th one. 10th one is Capricorn. We stop there. After that, we've completed all the Dashamshas of Aries. Then we go to Taurus.
The 9 therefrom.
Now Taurus, because it's an even sign, will start from the 9th sign from it. So the first Dashamsha of Taurus is
Makara.
Capricorn,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Understand? Now, please understand. The Dashamshas of Taurus will be Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, and so on, covering 10. But the last one of Aries was Capricorn, and the first one of Taurus was also Capricorn. That's a break. Had it been, if it was following in an order, then the one which would be next would be Aquarius. And therefore the first Dashamsha of Taurus should have been Aquarius if it was following a cyclic order. So Dashamsha does not follow this concept of parivriti. It does not follow it. There are breaks, there are stoppages. Okay? Many of the divisional charts have this in them. So you cannot use this
For the Shamsha.
in all divisional charts. You cannot use it in Dashamsha. You cannot use it in Shastiyamsa. You cannot use it in Siddhamsa. You cannot use it in Vimshamsha. You cannot use it in Shodashamsha. You cannot use it in Dwadashamsha. You cannot use it in Ekadashamsha. That's Rudramsha. You cannot use it in Saptamsha. Oh wait, can you? No, you cannot. Okay?
But it's again from even signs. You take the 7 therefrom and etc.
So you see, there are quite a few divisional charts that this will not apply to. But we have some variations of divisional charts. For example, have you heard of Parivriti Traya Drekana? Parivriti Drekana. Or Parivriti Hora. You may have read in the software sometime. These follow this cyclical sequence. You can use this principle there. Only there can you use it. Only divisional charts which follow a cyclical sequence. So before applying this to just anywhere, other than Navamsha and Rashi, you can apply it in Rashi. Rashi has cyclic sequence. Rashi Navamsha, you can always apply it. Other divisional charts, consider whether the divisional chart has the sequence, cyclical sequence. That means you must learn the calculations of the divisional charts to apply this. Yes, Dennis?
Never mind, I'm trying to fathom what it says on the slide.
Any questions?
Yes,
Yes, go ahead.
but maybe you want to go.
No, you
Go on, Dennis.
If we say like just for easiness, for the sake of making it easy, let's say we have like Ketu and we have Ketu and Saturn in aspecting the 10th house.
Ketu and Saturn aspecting 10th house. Yes.
Yeah. No, that's a bad example. Venus and Saturn.
Venus and Saturn.
Yeah, they both have 7th house drishti on the 10th house.
Assume yes. Crosby Rashi Drishti on the 10th.
Let's assume it's 7th house. It's Graha drishti.
All right.
Yeah, for the sake of easiness. Then in that example, that gives the effect of Ketu and Sun on the Lagna.
Yes.
What does that mean for the native?
Ha. What is happening here is any of the grahas in 10th is giving you a means of earning. The effect on the Lagna gives you a personal skill. Because what effect it has on the Lagna is what you have become skilled at. Okay?
Because it's 4th from the 10th house.
Because the Lagna is showing your intelligence. So whatever those grahas in 10th convert to is the blessing on your head. Why are we counting from 10th to 1st house? Because we want to see what the impact of the graha on the 10th has on your head. Okay?
And you can actually take that as an occupation, similar like as if Graha is in Lagna. That
Yes, particularly the 10th house shows which company you should work in, and then the impact it has on your lagna is what you will do there. Okay?
But where do the skills differ from the graha being on the lagna, for instance? Let's say we take the same example of Saturn and Venus. It's the effect of Ketu and Sun on the lagna.
Yes?
So if the native had Ketu and Sun on the lagna, it would be very much different, wouldn't it? Or is it the same?
No. If Venus is in 10th house, the person will be good at mathematics.
Yeah.
Ganitagya.
If Venus is on lagna, they would be good at writing stuff instead.
Venus.
That's right, instead.
Yes, correct.
So that's how we should perceive it.
Yes. It's different because of the interchange. These grahas.
Now I understand.
It also applies to Rashi Drishti on the 10th house. Not so much Graha Drishti, to also answer that question.
Okay.
So we should take just Rashi Drishti.
Rashi.
Use only Rashi Drishti. Hamaya? Was that what you
No, that's what I
Well,
wanted
I
to say.
had a question. You said that this Paravarti order is also might be used for Rashi, but it's not used actually.
It's used.
It can be used also.
It is used.
Can be used for Rashi interpretation.
Can and is.
Okay.
Okay. Can and is.
So it's a big yes.
A big yes.
And another question, for instance, if you have two very malefic planets like say Mars and Rahu, that means that it will influence your lagna, giving
Yes,
you
moon and
Venus moon.
Venus moon.
So Mars Rahu
you're-
in 10th house. Very good at poetry and writing.
No kidding, really?
No kidding.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. We'll be doing big PR for big companies which deal with fire and industry. Mars Rahu.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Thank you for interpreting my Namamsha.
Uh-huh.
Very nice.
Is that yours,
Okay.
please?
Mars and Rahu in 10th.
Yeah, Mars Rahu in 10th.
Yes,
Ah,
I
we
know
have-
for this principle.
Are they strong? Because if they're strong, then we
Mars
should
is
definitely get you
exalted.
employed. Mars is exalted. So much money. So much money. Oof. The stronger the planets which are in the 10th or aspect in the 10th are, the stronger the impact is on your lagna. So which has the strongest impact on Maya's lagna? Mars is exalted in 10th and Rahu is there also. They're in Capricorn. So Mars is giving the effects of Venus and Rahu is giving the effects of Moon.
What else?
So also this means Venus is stronger, has a stronger impact on her head. Because Mars is exalted, so Venus is stronger on her head. See that? So does that mean you are good at writing in a very lyrical way?
Yes, but only proses.
That is
not
prose.
Not really that I'm into poetry or anything.
You will do prose. Rarely do people these days do poetry when Venus influences. They do prose, they can do songs, okay? That sort of thing they can do. They're very good at also telling stories. They're very good at telling stories to people. Like they're very good at finding the rhythm in which they can tell a story. It's very nice from Venus.
I also wanted to ask you because regarding this principle, I heard that the graha in 10th house, or the starting graha for using this principle, if exalted, here my example, Mars is exalted, so it gives effect to lagna, gives effects of Venus, as if it is exalted. This Venus.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Then.
So, we are checking all the Vargas for this principle.
Not all.
D9, Rasu,
Yes.
and D10. Three.
Not
No,
D10.
not the.
Remember I said D10 is not cyclic. It's not
Okay.
parivriti.
Only
fact-
D9.
D9 and Rashi for sure.
Mhm.
This is Dinaida.
This is a sure something.
He, that's what Ogden asked me. I said affirmative, very much yes. Rashi as well.
D9.
We apply this also to the 11th house and also to the 12th house.
11 and 12.
Half, but half effect, isn't it?
I will get to that.
Also.
I heard only some people were saying like only 10 and 11. Some said 10, 11, 12. Some said only 10. So I'd really like to clarify.
10, 11 and 12.
Okay.
Tja, how many times must I repeat
This is
myself?
very clear, thank you very much.
Thank you. Very good. Stop asking questions twice and 3 times. Tja. Now, why is that so? See, Navagraha, right? There are 9 grahas. These 9 grahas are basically the lords of the 9 Navamsha houses. After they have taken care of the first 9 houses, 3 are left. These 3 houses are 10th house, 11th house, and 12th house. You are residing on Bhuloka. Where do the grahas reside? Which loka are the grahas in?
Guru.
Bhuva loka. They're in the sky. Bhuva loka. Right? So, the houses from first house to 9th house represent Bhuva loka. And anything beyond that is Swarga loka. So 10th house, 11th house, and 12th house is Swarga loka. The stars.
10th
10th, 11th, 12th, Swarga. Yes. You should make sure you write first house, second house, third house, up to 9th is Bhuva loka.
Starting 7.
From 1 to 9, Bhuva loka. Slept very well at night.
Too well, maybe.
Sandeep too. Now, so as a result of which, as soon as we enter beyond Bhuvaloka, we go to the Swarga Loka, then these 3 houses, 10, 11, 12, represent that Swarga Loka, and reversal of results happen. That is why we apply this to 10th, 11th, 12th. You must also understand why. It's not just arbitrary. It's simply because the grahas cannot control those 10th, 11th, 12th houses. That is why we apply this rule. They cannot control them. Instead, that is in the realm of the devas. That is why 10th house is called Swarga Bhava also. 10th house is called Swarga. You read the scriptures, they say, in Swarga Sthana, this and this and this is there. That's 10th house that you're referring to. Or maybe it's also 11th and 12th based on this, right? But 10th house for sure.
Then again, I asked you once, a few days ago or 10 days ago, I'm not sure, about 10th house and Swarga.
Yes.
So only in this context it is interpreted.
In this
as,
context, 10th is interpreted as Swarga.
Thank you very much.
In fact, we will have two concepts herein, where we'll say 10th house is directly above us, right? So it must be heaven, Swarga. 4th house is directly below us, so it must be
Narakas.
Naraka, hell. Okay? So there's these basic concepts, and then you know a more elaborate way of dividing the lokas now, with bijas and all. But this is derived from this concept. The grahas are controlling the 9 lokas from first house to 9th house. I mean, not 9 lokas, the 9 houses. Okay? And beyond that is Swarga. Herein, the 10th house gives blessings through earnings. So this conversion from the 10th house is a blessing through earning. Blessing through income and work.
Could you elaborate on the difference between income and work and gains?
In this 10th house, it's the same.
Okay. We don't differentiate like in the don't dash.
Well, the 10th, you see, the difference is in what I've implied earlier. 10th house is where you'll be working, and the way it affects your lagna is what you'll be doing there.
Whereas gaining can be very different than, like say, like the 11th house will be gains, right? And 10th house is more.
11th house is not gains. I didn't say gains. I said 10th house is earnings in Navamsha.
Okay.
11th house is blessings through friends.
Okay.
It also refers to the fulfillment of an objective. So write down 11th house, friends, fulfillment of dreams, fulfillment of objective. You had some hobby in 7th house. 11th house shows whether it'll manifest.
Now, the funny thing is that now you're using the word dreams. Is it in any way related to fifth bhava?
Sort of.
Okay, it's
Both 5th and 11th relate to dreams. But not dreams you get in your sleep.
No, I know. what
Future
we
dreams.
strive to.
Both relate to it. Okay. 5th house is more relevant than 11th house.
Sorry.
Sit over there.
Yeah.
Yes. Ništa započela sam se.
The 12th house is the blessing of Vishnu. So grahas in 12th house, when we analyze what they will do in the chart, we see them as blessings of Vishnu. That's how we have the difference between 10th house, 11th house and 12th house and their impact on the Lagna. Remember, we use this in Rashi and Navamsha, and we use it from Navamsha Lagna and from Karakamsha, both. Here's the extension to the 11th house. Continuing the thread of Sutra 1239, the same rule is extended to 11th and 12th houses as well. Let us see how this works. When a planet joins or aspects the 11th house, it gives its color to that house, which in turn has an impact on the Lagna based on the Navagraha chakra that we used before. The same chakra. That is, the 9 planets in the weekday order, which is Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu. The traditional rule here is to count from 11th house to the Lagna. This is 3 signs. Now count 30 planets from the one aspecting or joining the 11th. For example, let's say Mercury is in 11th from the Swamsha. Counting 3 from Mercury in the order of weekdays, including the nodes, we will get Mercury, Jupiter, Venus as the third one. So Venus is the third one. Therefore, the impact on the Swamsha is like that of Venus. So if you have Mercury in 11th house, your friends will bless you with Venus on your Lagna. So because of interaction with friends, a person may become very good at writing, very good at storytelling. This does not give you earnings. You will not earn money from this. But this is something you do in interaction with your friends, associates. Okay? Saturn in 11th house is considered a big blessing, right, Dennis?
Yes, sir.
How come? Which blessing is this that comes?
It's the blessing of Ketu.
Blessing of Ketu. Saturn 11th house. It's as if it's Ketu is on Lagna. So they say good Brahmanas are born with Saturn 11th house because they will be very good at mathematics and have the blessings of Ganesha. It works.
It does.
Work.
Yes. So now you know why they say that. And they apply that to Rashi, don't they? So now you know why they apply to Rashi also. It's based on this one sutra.
Then it should go for all grahas in 11.
Yes, all grahas. Then you have to convert them.
Okay, as I see, that's not. Then in my case, it's not only a blessing.
The 11th house is the house of Shiva. Okay? The 11th house is the house of Shiva. So, when we speak of Svargaloka, these 3 houses, 10th, 11th, 12th, it's basically 3 devatas which are causing the grahas to move. They're making them shift. I mean, how can they just change like that? The devatas, they're making them shift. And Shiva is sitting in the 11th and forcing the graha there to convert, to change. So, Saturn in 11th has to change for Shiva into Ketu, Ganesh. Sun in 11th has to change for Shiva to become like Mars. Sometimes this leads to a good change. Sometimes it can be a little bit problematic. For example, what if you have Venus in the 11th house? First of all, this means your friends are blessing you with Venus. The fulfillment of all your desires is coming through Venus, because 11th has to do with fulfillment of desire. Desire is 7, 5th from is 11. Fulfillment of the same. Future of the desire. So if you have Venus in the 11th, you will have lots of desires. Okay? You must, because Venus is the whole concept of Kamina. We read earlier, yesterday, Kamina is Venus, isn't it? So when Venus is in 11th, Rahu is on the Lagna. This is problematic. Desires are too high. Desires are never being fully met because the person grows more desires as the days go. Once they attain one desire, they have another one. Once they attain another desire, they have another one. It grows and grows and grows and grows, and they are never satisfied. So Venus in 11th is a bit problematic.
Too much desire.
Too many desires.
Too many desire.
Again, my choice.
My child also.
In
Sure.
your-
Yeah.
Exalted also.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
yeah. It's exalted. We end with Rahu.
Okay.
It's like Sun and Rahu.
So that is the blessing your friends give you. All right.
Change social
I don't
circle.
know what to say. What?
Change social circle.
Ha. Can you agree to this?
No, not
Cannot.
really.
Your friends do not have this impact on you?
No.
No? Good.
Maybe because with Rahu, they are changing.
Is it joint
Yes,
Rahu?
but,
you mean?
Venus is stronger.
Ah, yes. Rahu will eclipse Venus.
Maybe.
How will Rahu impact you? Rahu becomes sun.
Sun more.
More responsible.
Yes.
More dignified.
But you see, I
Your
also
friends, you will have very cultured friends, Rahu, and you will become very dignified. You will also become a very firm believer in the religion of your country because of them.
Rahu also show it maybe foreign friends.
It can, yes. Yes. So Venus's exaltation is not having much impact because Rahu is joined. Nodes joined up another Graha can completely eclipse the
Dominate.
Graha.
Yeah.
Okay? Keep that in mind. Other Grahas cannot do it. The nodes can.
This only goes, I have to clarify one thing again. These principles only go for up to 10th, 11th and 12th houses. We cannot count as a blessing to have Rahu in 9th, for instance.
no.
Can also be planets aspecting these houses. 10th, 11th, 12th. Now we'll extend it to 12th house. And there's a slight change here. Continuing the thread of the 10th house, the same rule is extended to 12th house as well. However, this is the Ishta Devata. Remember, 12th house from Atma Karaka is Ishta Devata. And this Ishta Devata is not going to change. And the way for the Lagna to approach the Ishta Devata is based on the Navagraha Vara Chakra. So the Ishta Devata is not changing when in 12th house. Now, the Graha is not changing. But the way you approach that Devata will change slightly. Okay? Because you must gain a certain mood or way of approaching. Now, the traditional rule here is to count from 12th house to Lagna, which is 2 signs. Now count 2 planets from the one aspecting or joining this 11th. Say Mercury is in 12th house from Swamsha. Then the Ishta Devata indicator is Vishnu. See, no change between Mercury and Vishnu? We didn't change Ishta Devata. Counting 2nd house from Mercury in the order of weekdays plus nodes, we arrive at Jupiter. Therefore, the impact on the Swamsha is like that of Jupiter. And Vishnu has to be worshipped on Thursdays. How must you approach Vishnu? Worship on Thursdays. Which is true. In India, Vishnu is worshipped on Thursdays. In this manner, the Maharishi derived the days for worshipping the Devata, which is followed even today. Although nobody understands why, now you understand. The point here is that Rahu or Ketu in the table will show any day as it takes the nature of the planets it joins. This will impact the dates for worship of Narayan and Durga. One addition. The Ishta Devata in the 12th house from Lagna, in the Vamsha Lagna, can give blessings in the line of work that you choose for it. Remember I said moon in 12th can make you a good singer? So you have to add that. It can give a blessing, but this blessing is a blessing of Vishnu. It's not really a blessing of earnings. So it can really bless you and give a lot of happiness in life. So, here we have the various days and the various devatas worshipped upon them. For example, sun indicates Shiva, and the second day from the sun is indicated by moon on Monday. So Shiva is worshipped on Mondays. It works.
Yes.
It does. Moon is Gauri. Gauri is always worshipped on Tuesdays. Skanda on Wednesdays. Vishnu on Thursdays. Jupiter or Samba Sadashiva will be worshipped on Fridays. Lakshmi on Saturdays. But this form of Lakshmi we don't worship. So, my recommendation, do not worship Lakshmi on Saturdays. Worship Lakshmi on Fridays. Okay? Saturn is Narayana. Rahu is supposed to indicate the day associated with it. Worship Narayana on Saturdays because Rahu is like Saturn, so Saturday. Durga or Rahu is worshipped on Ketu's day. Ketu is like Mars, so it becomes Tuesday. Ketu is Ganesha and is worshipped on the day following that, which is indicated by the sun, Sunday. In a different scheme, Ganesha is like Mars, and then Ganesha is worshipped on Wednesdays. Like Jaimini will say, that Mars can indicate Ganesh and Skanda both. One of the two.
For example, when
Ketu,
you gave
Wednesday.
us the instructions to
Yes, Maya?
instructions to determine mantra for Jaimini personal mantra for
Mm.
Jaimini Sutras,
Yes.
you did give that if Ketu joins Mars, then it indicates Ganesha.
It can,
As I
yes.
remember.
It can. Ganesha or Subramanya. You can choose. Yes?
No, on Ganesha, we should worship in Wednesday. No,
You have two
Sunday.
options.
Two options. Okay.
Either you treat Ganesha like Mars or Ganesha like Ketu. If you
Okay.
treat him like Ketu, you worship Sunday. With Mars, you worship on Wednesday.
Okay.
If there is a Parivartan, then should we use the Parivartan one? For
The
example,
Graha is still there.
Shani in my 12th, but Parivartan with Mars.
Yes.
Should I use the Mars then?
We should use Shani.
Shani.
We should use Shani. The Parivartana means with time Mars will get involved. So with time you will naturally, after going to Shani, you'll go to Mars. It's natural. You don't have to force it. Vara Chakra is the power of Swaha Shakti. Who is Swaha Shakti? Swaha Shakti. Who is Swaha Shakti?
Agni.
Agni's wife. Yes.
Everyone.
Who carries the prayers to God as the spouse of Agni. It says there. The Lord of the Day is one of the 7 tongues of Agni. So each of these weekdays are not devatas but tongues of Agni. And Agni receives our prayer and gives to the devatas. There is a correlation of this related to Tithi. So if you study Tithi in the Panchanga, you could also find a scheme related to this. This is homework.
So a question, how do you think I'm telling this Rahu Ketu at the end?
Yes. Rahu is Durga, that we know.
But just with the
But
counting.
in
It's like
Tithi
Vishnu,
scheme,
you count from
the
20 to Thursday.
order
Yes.
of
Rahu,
Rahu
Ketu is
is
always following each other. You take
is
the
exactly
weekday
like
order,
Bharata.
then you have to, after Saturn you get Rahu, then Ketu.
What's the correlation?
So from Rahu, second from is Ketu. From Ketu, second from is Sun. It's the same order.
Yes, sir.
Just continue.
What Viveka means?
Ah, Viveka.
Discrimination.
It's discrimination. Yes. Being able to take some knowledge and use your understanding to see what is right and what is wrong. We'll take a break.
You give this time in the slide.
Yes, maybe I'll do that.
But we were so
Come on,
nice.
you're
That's
not
not
Seriously
fair.
consider.
Good, you're not being nice this morning. It's only 9 o'clock. Come on.
Oh, it is.
Bravo.
Yeah, we'll take a break.
Thank
I need
you.
a break at least.